So a great moment actually to be talking about the ICC's engagement in food and agriculture. I remember when I started looking at this about 18 months, 2 years ago, we were doing an alignment between the way in which the ICC national committees presented themselves in each economy and actually doing an analysis against the various key elements of economies. And one of the areas we saw it was lacking was engagement with, particularly in some economies where there's a very deep agri-business, the way in which I think the tools we've been providing and some of the areas we'd focused on wasn't making it easy for national committees to engage with the agri-business and agri-food. The other area, by the way, which we worked on, you would have seen as well, was around travel and tourism, which was also lagging as well. So it's actually, it's a pretty exciting moment to actually pull all this together now. We've done a fair bit of work, and I've got to say that Ercole has been a fantastic support for us, particularly in engaging with the key food agencies in Rome. And of course, it always provides a good opportunity to spend time in Rome. But I think what Ercole is also doing is showing the food agencies, and in particular, a request from the food agencies, because they were finding their engagement with the broader private sector was lacking. And so it was almost propinquitous, or a very nice sort of moment where we were talking and they were saying, well, actually, some of the arrangements they have in place at the moment have just not been helpful in terms of actually engaging with the real economy. And they saw us as, because of who we are and our spread, as very useful for that. So from our perspective, there are three good reasons. One I just mentioned, really, I actually do think that food system players were underrepresented in our membership. It's just interesting seeing our friend from Argentina on the line. I was just talking to your chair yesterday about the importance, for example, in Argentina of the food industry. We've got something like 50% of local businesses are engaged in agribusiness, but we just don't have enough engaged in the ICC. So it's a great opportunity, hopefully, by pulling all this together to create value, but also create value for the business community in Argentina and create alignment there. And by the way, this is because I've been doing, some of you would know, I've been doing work creating the Center of Entrepreneurship in Beirut. We have a similar situation in Lebanon, where a very large proportion of the economy in Lebanon is actually devoted to and related to agribusiness, but only 4% of ICC Lebanon membership are actually in the agribusiness area. So this is an opportunity as we see it. But also on other things we're involved with, particularly around sustainability. So I think we'd all know that the global food system is actually responsible for approximately 26% of global GHG emissions. The breakdown is 31% from livestock and fisheries, 27% from crop production, 24% from land use, and 18% from supply chains. So, we need to be engaged in this discussion as part of our broader discussion and the direction we have around action on climate. And so it's important for us to understand the drivers and actually be much more engaged in it. So it's a really good reason for us as well. The third is, if we're going to be the credible voice of the real economy, and that's what people expect of us, it's what the head of the IMF told me they want from us. They see the ICC as the voice of the real economy. That's why they want us involved in the deliberations. The same thing at the World Bank. I've just been in discussions with Matthias Kormann at the OECD, who says the same thing. Because of the global spread we have and the depth we have in the real economy, they want us to be present. But to be truly valuable there, it's not just our spread they want, it's actually the important cross-cutting, cross-sectoral issues that we need to be able to be involved with as well, and food is a key one. And so in the long run for us as well, getting more food system members will enable us to be more relevant in the local areas in which we work, but not only in the UN Rome-based agencies, but also importantly other forums, mentioning the discussion, those points I made on sustainability before. So we see the food systems are of great relevance to the operation and an underpin, and are actually part of a number of the great global issues that are being dealt with at the moment. So from our perspective, at a global level, we need to be involved. At a regional level, we need to be involved. And at a local level, we not only need to be involved, but we think it creates real opportunity for us as well, and for hopefully our national committees and chambers that are part of us. The other thing is that, and the reason it's so good to have Ercole on, and he'll take us through a lot of the detail here, is that, curiously or interestingly, as a matter of post-Second World War settlement, the food agencies related to the UN are all based in Rome. And one of the great benefits, I suppose, I've seen in the ICC is the ability to leverage our national committees to actually achieve important policy outcomes. And the fact that we're able to work so well with hats off to Beatrice as well, with ICC Italy, to create this model which is only one of the models we've created at the moment, where there's real value created not just for the ICC by the participation of ICC Italy, but we're actually creating real value, I think, for the food agencies themselves by having a key pinpoint person in Rome as our lead with the food-based agencies. So working with FAO, World Food Program. In fact, I'm just working with World Food Program at the moment on the crisis in Afghanistan. And it's interesting, like 2 years ago, we might have been an interesting comma, but now we're actually seen as the first port of call for some support for what they're doing. And also for IFAD, which is a very important agency, actually one of the most successful of the food agencies in a funny way because of its development profile and the way in which it invests. And actually, frankly, we were just talking before we started, has been pretty well led over the last couple of years, which makes a big difference, as you know, when you and agencies, the quality of leadership. So that engagement is real. That engagement is important as well. And what's really interesting for us is it's reciprocal. They want us, they need us, and they see, therefore, if we can strengthen our understanding, we become more valuable. And the way we do that is by engaging with you and feeding in from you the information, the areas, the contacts, and everything else. So it's a great opportunity for us. And now I'm going to ask Ercole, our new ICC Agri-Food Lead for the UN Rome-based agency, it even sounds better in Italian, to give you more information on the hubs. Over to you, Ercole.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much for these nice words, and thank you all the ICC team for supporting this project since the beginning, and also for having facilitated this meeting. The numbers of people are online today show that there is a huge interest in this sector, and I'm very grateful to have all of you on board, and especially for those of you who are already being in contact with us to know more about agri-food engagement. So as John was saying, we have different things on the desk. We are doing partnership with UN Rome-based agency. One is already signed with WFP. I see also there are colleagues from WFP today, Alan, Azura. So I say hi to them and thank you for joining us today. And also a new opportunity to grow up and to upgrade this project of agri-food. And we will present today also the ICC Agri-Food Hubs, a new initiative that we would like to establish for next month with the help for NCS. Before to describe the project, I just want to take 3 minutes to describe how we get on agri-food sector with ICC, because the story is quite funny, but at the same time shows also the how of the project, because it happens with ICC Italy, especially in 2015 when the expo took place in Milan. That, you know, in Italy everyone was trying to starting talk in agri-food in a different way. Not just with pizza, spaghetti, and cibo, but they were trying also to be involved on different levels. So institutions, entrepreneurs, consultants, university, they start to talk about agri-food in a very proactive approach. They were starting to talk about new network, new hubs, new initiatives, new startups. So this very tangible interest that has been growing during the years from 2015 just pushed us as ICC, I and Maria Beatrice Deli, we just were thinking to starting some more concrete from ICC side on agri-food. So we decided to launch a working group on agri-food a couple of years ago, just to test the market, Italian market in that way. So at that time, I'm still talking with the Italian shirt. And at that time, we were starting to do this test. And to be honest, it was quite successful, because many companies were being involved, many professionals. There were a huge interest also from authorities. We were talking with the ministry, with university. I funded, together with Lewis University, the first course on food law. The LLM in food law is a unique experience of training for those who are specialized in this sector. So all these, for a few years, push us to make an upgrade of this topic, and exactly in the period where we were thinking about upgrade this topic, because you will never make an international real international project if you don't have international network. And ICC is the powerful ICC is exactly the be international, have a huge representation, 45 million companies all around the world. So exactly in the moment we received a call from ICC HQ, and John, Quinn, and Andrea Petrini, they were coming to Rome to have a meeting with the FAO to discuss about possible opportunities to work with the UR-based agencies, also with the support of the Australian embassy. And during the dinner, I still remember, well, it was one of the last dinner before COVID, the lockdown. We have this amazing dinner in Rome. We were exchanging opinions on agri-food, and we realized immediately that agri-food is a huge opportunity for ICC. And what's better place to start to think about international agri-food project than sitting in Rome, eating Italian food, and developing new vision of ICC involvement in this sector. So from that story, from that that period, we start working together. It was already 2 years ago, so we were already discussing about this opportunity. But I like to talk about this story because it represents exactly the soul of this project. The project was tested on the field from ICC Italy, was upgraded with the support of ICC HQ umbrella, and then we exchanged with the bottom-up approach. So this is something that make the sense that sometime when the project born from the field that already experienced the success of the project, it makes a more value also for ICC HQ and at global level to make the engagement of other national communities. So after this brief story, to understand and to show also that the ICC global level of engagement and also the support of national committees is exactly also the spirit of the engagement with agri-food. I would like to start with my presentation, and I'll just now show the presentation that we have prepared, a few slides that I also like to say thank you to Andrea Petrini who support me and is supporting me in this project. To better understand what we are talking about. First, maybe it's obvious, but when we talk about agri-food, it's not just the definition strict sense of food and agriculture, because agri-food is a huge word. It's a very interdisciplinary matter. It includes many sectors, and as you can see, food is production, inputs, transport, distribution, retail, tech, payment, everything that we already have as ICC in our organization. So specializing in agri-food, and when we talk about agri-food, and for the other slide, we don't talk about only food agriculture products, but we talk about all the supply chain, all the products and activities that we develop and are developed from alongside the supply chain. So companies, as you can see, are huge working on this sector. There is a huge number of companies involved in this sector, and that's why it's very important to highlight this kind of concept. And then, as John was saying, we have many opportunities also coming up on the sector of agri-tech and sustainability. Agri-tech is becoming something very important for companies because they can improve the tools of production, and at the same time also the UN organization are very looking to receive inputs from private sector on the matter of tech and sustainability. So now we jump to the collaboration with the UN agency. As John was saying, Rome is a privileged location to have to dealing with these three organizations: FAO, WFP, IFA. There are three main based organizations in Rome working on agri-food from different perspectives, but still the center of agri-food discussion is here, is in Rome. And in Italy we also have different organizations. In Parma we have EFSA, European Food Security. We also have WFO, World Farmer Organization. So it's a privileged observatory to see how the perspective of food from humanitarian and cooperation field are proceeding. So We started with WFP, World Food Program, with this collaboration very recently, February 2021, this year. Since from the beginning, there has been always a good relation and a very concrete approach on realizing and supporting each other. The area of collaboration are basically split on advocacy and communication, knowledge exchange, regional linkages, national linkages. All these activities are structured to get private sector more involved in UN activities and WFP activities. This is also something important because, you know, UN during last years also changed the way to approach the private sector, or is still trying to change this approach. Why I'm telling this? Because from last years and from the former years, the approach to the private sector was more related to fundraising and donor relation. But for how much money they can get from private sector, they are now realizing that money will not fix the hunger issues. They need to exchange knowledge. They need also to learn from private sector, and at the same time, they need to talk to the private sector. And ICC is a perfect translator, let's say, or interpreter of these needs. That's why we are here. That's why we signed the agreement with WFP. We are on our stage to sign the agreement with FAO. Next week, as I was saying to John, we will meet again with FAO. That we are doing a pre-screening process of our organization, but we hopefully by the end of this month we will get also FAO on board. IFAD is still on phase in negotiation because recently they start to work more directly with private sector. So we are also negotiating with IFAD the points of a possible MOU. And WFO, not UN organization, but still World Farmer Organization. The organization will represent the farmers worldwide, still in Rome, and also with them we will sign an agreement soon. Coming back to WFP, and before to jump to the huger project. With WFP, the activities that we have been done, well, I can say are already quite relevant, despite the short period that we have been signed the agreement. In May, for the first time in history, WFP has opened discussion and consultation with private sector in order to align their strategic plan. Having the overview of private sector to change the way to work is something very unique, and ICC has be part of this exercise. We have participated together with John, Gabriella from Brazil, Chris from UK, I from Italy, and ICC now with the double role. We all assisted this exercise, including our companies together to speak about private sector and UN operativity, UN activities, how to match the two things. We would like to act as a matchmaking hub between these two worlds, let's say, to make it closer. So that was the first exercise, and we will share soon in the next days also the response and the answer of this consultation. John will be soon included in a private sector advisory group. We are still discussing with WFP to define better the details of this advisory group. And we are also linking the Center of Entrepreneurship that Gabriel and Catherine ICC has launched recently in Africa. We are still trying to link this another important tool of ICC tool with the UN operativity. So the exercises, let's say, have been structured in the proper way. Now we are on the right path to develop this collaboration. We really would like to learn from WFP how to approach with their operation and project, but at the same time, we would like also to explain private sector through national committees how to get involved with the new operation of WFP. So many of you are already being contacted, and we already have a few contacts with the national committees that have been requested from WFP, but I'm sure that in the future contacts will become more and more often. So once we launched this project, and now I move to a new activities that we like to propose. Well, you see Netflix, but we are not talking about a series. Don't imagine John or me just doing actor for ICC. This is not the aim of the project, but I'm talking about a new project and also a new model that we like to propose. When at the beginning I was talking about bottom-up projects, it was because, you know, we realized during this period that we start working with the UN organization and talking about agri-food, we have been receiving many requests, many proposals, many requests of information from national committees, companies, institutions, a lot of interest on agri-food. So we were thinking to say, you know, why to don't use this opportunity to jump in agri-food sector in a more structured way. So I was talking to ICC HQ with John, Julia, Quinn. So we were having discussion on how to develop this project, and we were come on possible opportunity for all of us. I'm talking about not just as ICC Global, but also from national perspectives. Try to identify a replicable model with a bottom-up approach to start to think about agri-food. So Netflix, it's something that was inspirational for me, like try to have a format, global format, one structure to shape on the basis of concrete needs of the host country, different application, local actors, internationally recognized. This format could be something that, you know, national committees can apply without too much resources or in terms also of staff and also funds, but at the same time can receive a huge revenues or let's say membership increase or sponsorship, partnership. They can receive visibility also from the matter to working on this sector. The idea is exactly to create a format under the ICC umbrella to develop all national hubs based also on global model, and using tools and paths with the support of ICC HQ. The idea is to jump in this sector. As I was saying, is not just agri-food, but is larger than agri-food. Try to harmonize these sector also to facilitate trade, facilitate policy, and at the same time also have UN as partner of our mission and supporting with a broader network UN operativity. The format that we were thinking about is designed on 5 key pillars. Pillars are, we decide these 5 pillars. We pick up these pillars because are the main requested from companies and at the same time also easier to apply. As you can see, legal clinics. Legal clinics will be an help desk focusing on ICC related topics. It's a huge thing. We can talk about labeling, trade, standards, sustainability. There are many issues that we can think about and many issues that small, medium companies, but also big companies needs on this sector. Innovation and digitization, as I was saying, it's a new word. They're talking about agriculture 4.0. They talk about agri-tech. Also, the agriculture and food industry, they need to look at the production in a new way, including a new solution. And on this sector, you know, it's very important also to facilitate the production through the utilization and the use of new innovation and solution that we can propose. Trade and policy, discussion on most relevant policy issues. We have many, but just if I talk about Nutri-Score, you will think about how important is be aligned and have an organization as ICC dealing with this kind of issues, because, you know, countries have very different position on these. Entrepreneurship, we were thinking to link the Center of Entrepreneurship activity with Gabriel and Catherine on agri-food. So the Center of Entrepreneurship will have a focus on agri-food. Sustainability. Well, as John was saying, sustainability is a discussion, is a topic that we all need to consider, not just for agri-food, but for all the production and the business. But mainly, you know, agri-food, you cannot talk about agriculture and food if you don't think about more circular, a new business model and circular way to produce. How to implement this kind of project, and which are the main activities that can be developed. We were talking about working groups, events, training, guidelines, partnership, agri-food network and sponsorship opportunities is something that we were thinking. As I was saying, it's not just a theoretical format, but this is something that we already experienced also from ICC Italy. And the things very, let's say, unique that we will try to present is that applying this kind of module, basically you don't need to invest a lot from your own countries, because we know that as national committees we don't have a lot of staff, we don't have funds. Sometimes we have many issues to managing the national committees. But in this case, the format was think on win-win combination, because I am talking about this because the collaboration that we ask from national committees is trying to be to fix and set up a focal point from their own country, but at the same time try applying this model, global model, on national perspectives, and try to identify win-win combination. Why I'm saying this? Because from one side, we have service providers like law firm, consulting firms, companies that are offering service for food and agriculture companies. From other side, we have many small companies that cannot just access to services because they don't have money, they don't have competence, they don't have capacity to access. The role of ICC Agri-Food Hubs will be matching the two parts of the project under the key 5 pillars, and try to show that we can facilitate business and to make companies to work in a new way, and of course with the international approach. Benefits, and then I come back to the format because I want to show you how we are now already realizing this new approach with the ICC Italy. Benefits are many. You just can imagine the opportunity to increase the revenue base under the membership, new sponsorship opportunity to diversify membership, because as I was saying before, maybe already some of your members are working with agri-food, maybe will be interested to know more about agri-food, but at the same time, there are also new members relating to this sector that we like to jump in this project. So it will be also an opportunity to increase offer of services of members and to gain visibility with another part of the market on your local base. Then for sure, we can have also the part of engagement with UN Rome-based agency. So there is a direct engagement with the local office of WFP. We will need to link, and we are already doing, with your companies that are already your members with the activities of WFP, and soon will be also a project of FAO and IFED. So many others activities will be done with this. Opportunity for members to participate in global UN events. This is something that we already been done now. As I was saying before, we already organized 1 event with WFP in May, but this period soon there will be the Food Sister Summit, COP21, well, many events that we would like to share with our network. And then for sure, the good things that we would like to propose is that once you get the model, if each one on national committee will decide to get involved in this project, start to developing activities, will be easier for all of you to create contents. Why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because, for example, we are trying to do the same with the Italian committee. And under the 5 pillars, as you can see, we're already trying to developing products and services. Under the legal clinic, we start to work on this 1 year ago. We signed an agreement, well, membership agreement, but was also a partnership agreement with few law firms, working and having the food division interested in have contacts with companies, but at the same time also to exchange with an international organization to know more about this sector. So we start to grow our membership with the law firms and consultancy companies, asking them to develop and structure service for companies. So the experiment was done with these 3 main law firms, LCA, which is an international law firms, Barallo, and other couple of law firms that we are on the phase to finalize the agreement. With the LCA law firms, we realize a course on how to internationalize agri-food companies that will be held at the end of September. With Barallo law firm, we make a deal to develop a newsletter on labeling, and the ICC help desk on how to write in the correct way a label. So then we are trying to finalize a partnership with Lewis University. As I was saying, I coordinate the master, and I'm thinking to start an agri-food lab with 5 students each year to support the project and working on the project and providing services for companies. Then innovation, digitization. As I was saying, many things. In Italy, we have a team and Olivetti. Team and Olivetti, they are developing a new sector on agri-food. They are developing agri-food, agriculture 4.0 division. So many solutions talking about innovation and also blockchain to support small medium companies, but not only small medium companies. So Olivetti is very interested in jumping this project and try to support our companies with the new solution, and maybe we are negotiating a sponsorship opportunity for them to jump in the project. Policy, we develop many connections with the Ministry of Agriculture and local authorities. As I was saying, we have many associations here like Federalimentare, Coldiretti, representing farmers. We are trying to connect all of them and make them jump and joining this project. With the Entrepreneurship Center, we are having a meeting with Gabriel and Catherine to understand how to in some way link our project with the center they already been developing with the huge success during this year. And sustainability. Sustainability is a very important topic, but at the same time, it's very important to have a discussion with companies, especially not only on national level, but also international level, because it is required an harmonization of legislation, because still we are in really startup phase in the matter of regulation. But at the same time, we need also to propose learning by experience and also based on the experience of companies, new model of business. And ICC can be, a good voice to propose this kind of solution. This is something that we already do in Italy. This is something that is already happening. And this is something that we like to propose also to other NCS under the guide of ICC Global and under the support of the team that will be and is already on active model. Like I, Andrea Petrini, I'm working on this, and under the supervision of Queen and Julia, we would like to propose this kind of model. As next step of this project, and now we don't have too much time, and I would like to leave also 10 minutes for question at the end of this presentation, but for those of you who will be interested in joining and know more about this project, because now, as you can see, is a structure, is a model. We are trying to realize these projects in Italy, but we already have also a few discussions with many of you that are interested in know more about the implementation of this project, but for sure next week we can organize also a briefing on these with more details of how to proceed. But as phases of the project, we were thinking on first define the format of the hubs. The definition of the format of the hubs will be done with your support, because this is just an idea, this is just our proposal, but I'm sure and we are sure that together with your professionals, with your companies, we can do a period of a consultation to define and improve this modular format. At the same time, you will be asked to express interest and apply to participate in this project. So we will leave 1 month, then I will show you also a few deadlines that we can respect, but at the same time, on Monday, we will send out a communication with this presentation and also with the new deadline that we are thinking about. In 1 month, we would like to receive your expression of interest to apply in this project. And as a second phase, we will select for pilot project 5 NCS to launch 5 hubs. For those of the national committees that maybe they don't have still the power or the time to invest in this project, we shall be required to have a focal point, an observer, let's say, to keep him or her in the loop of agri-food process and see if there is any activity that they can develop. At the same time, we will develop as ICC Global material, recruit new members, partners, and also sponsorship to start up this project. And we will require to each NC that will be involved in this project to at least have 10 companies to involve in this program. So for next year, we would like to start with 5 hubs, 10 companies each, and sponsor a partner from the service provider phase. So as you can see, the phase 3, we would like to extend this project to other NCS, that will be interesting. As I was saying, these are the opportunity that we would like to propose. One is the creation hubs, another one is the identification of observers. But as I was saying, this is an idea, it's a proposal, it's a bottom-up approach project. So the things that we would like to have from you is also have your feedback on this project, and at the same time support us in developing this project also based on your experience and national experience. Say that I'm in time with the Q&A. I just want to close the presentation and see if there is any question, comments, so we can just try to start the discussion on the project. And of course, if there is any question also on the UN relation with the WFP and also with FAO and IFAD, I will be more than happy together with my colleagues to reply. Thank you for your attention, and I really hope that the project will be appreciated and there will be interest in an active role for all of you from all the national committees to jump in the agri-food involvement with ICC. We can also use the chat, or you can just raise your hand. I see also Maria Beatrice is now online from Italy. So, ciao Maria Beatrice, thank you for joining.
Ciao Ercole.
Ercole, there's a question from Nelson.
Yes.
Nelson, please, take the floor.
Hi everyone, I'm trying to unmute me. Nelson Checa from ICC Argentina. We are part of the Buenos Aires Grain Exchange. That is a chamber that covers both sides, the supply and the demand of the agriculture sector here in Argentina. And first of all, I'm very glad, I'm very enthusiastic about this project. We had this discussion with Raul Rocatagliata from Argentina, with Ercole, Andrea, and some other of the stakeholders. We will be very pleased to be part of this project. We would like to apply to be one of the NCs for the pilot, but I would like to add some comments if it's possible. We would like to include perhaps some other institution that ICC has representation in alongside the world, like, I don't know, the WTO perhaps would be very important to be included. Also, the World Customs Organization or the World International Property Organization, that are very important for agriculture sector, for agri-food sector. So perhaps not only cover the UN base in Rome, but some other parts, perhaps in Geneva, New York, and some other ICC representatives. Another perhaps that was in my mind while I was listening to you, Ercole, that perhaps we could also add not only a legal clinic, but perhaps to include agronomists or perhaps economists, that we work together with agronomists here in the grain exchange, and it's a very rich process to have discussion with them, especially because in the agri-food sector the science-based discussion is very important. For us to have this in mind is key. So we have a lot to offer on that field, I think. But well, I don't want to steal all your time. We can continue this in person if you want, virtually in person if you want.
Thank you, Nelson, and thank you also for this feedback. And yeah, for sure, it's a good idea to involve other institutions. We already also have a few discussions with you, and for sure IP is a very crucial matter on agri-food. And for sure, as we were saying, agri-food is a very interdisciplinary matter. So this is exactly the approach we would like to have, and the schema and the structure that I present is a base, an initial structure, but for sure, because now there won't be so much time to present in details. But the idea is just to spread out and to have more details under each pillar, also other competencies. So thank you also for ICC Argentina, because it was already useful to have a discussion with you also during the last months, and for sure we will keep you on board of this initiative. I see also Brian, you have a question. Please take the floor.
Thanks very much. That was really interesting. Obviously, from Australia, we have a large agricultural sector that's very important, and I could see this being quite attractive, in Australia as an initiative. But two questions. So we'd express interest, I think. But two questions, if I might, is just for clarity. You're talking about the agribusiness sector, so not farmers, not the actual producers, but the upstream and downstream producers from there is what you're thinking. And there's service suppliers, presumably including banks, etc. So if you clarify that, and then secondarily, fishing and seafood and aquaculture, is that also in your thinking at the moment? And just because it happens to have come up on my screen as we've been talking, the Financial Times, it looks like, has a Food Revolution channel, and they have a session on unlocking the potential of a soil-based economy, which is also very interesting. And from an Australian perspective, also around climate change, etc., is sequestration, carbon management, land management, very interesting sorts of topics. So yeah, if you can expand a little, that would be great.
Thank you, Brian, for your question. Well, yes, talking about actors that would like to involve in this project, it's a bit various, because it's not just producer, but also service providers. So for sure, the idea is to start with the consultation process also with companies and trying to understand also based on their needs, and also with the learning by experience approach, how to set up the format to implement. So the first question is it's an ongoing process, the definition of the actors and the target group, but we will like to have a couple of months with the NCS will be involved in this project also to redefine and improve the target group based also on the experience of national committees, also because, you know, on a local level things change. It's not just one fits all, but basically sometime on the local needs and priorities change on the basis of national committees. Regarding the second question, fishing, yes, very interesting sector. We already been receiving many requests of interest on fishing, also because from European level there are many funds on fishing sector. So we had a discussion a couple of weeks ago also with the Ministry of Italian Agriculture, and also they expressed a lot of interest in JUMP, in fisheries activities. So we just need to, you know, at the beginning to identify which sector we would like to focus to avoid that too many things that will be difficult to manage. But for sure, fisheries is one of these. And the third question, climate and food revolution, let's say, it's something that we consider. We already have a discussion with private sector also because climate change and the impact of climate to agriculture is one of the main topics that we are thinking about, and especially under the, let's say, policy and trade pillar, and but also sustainability. You know, it's very it's a topic that we need to focus on. Also from UN side, there is a lot of interest on climate issues and how the agriculture can respond and companies can respond to these needs. So once again, your 3 points that you highlight are appreciated, and we will happy to discuss and also in the next weeks about more detail how to identify this point and developing in the ICC Agri-Food Hubs solution.
Can I also, that was very interesting. Can I also just add, in the policy space, there's other groupings from the ag sector, you know, from our side, things like the CANS group exist, etc. How do you see the interface on the trade side with the other groups that are already very active?
Yeah, at the beginning, you know, I want to just add also a point. At the beginning of the implementation of the thinking of the project, one pillar was about credit access. Credit access, because this could be also something very important for companies, and especially for small medium companies. But then, as I was saying before, since at the beginning could be risky, dedicated in too many things, because we are still in the startup phase, we decide in this phase to identify the 5 pillars that I show, but for sure there are many other points, as you are highlighting, that need to be considered. And, you know, we just hope that also based on experience on national committees, we can also be entitled and be more safe to assign different roles to different national committees. So we will see in the implementation phase how you know, we can remodule, let's say, the format that we designed. I don't know if there is any other question from the...
So we've got a couple of volunteers so far, which is great. We need a couple more. Go on, Maricel. Paraguay's got to step up. You're on mute. You're on mute, Maricel. You're on mute.
Yes, sorry. Hello, how are you? Yes, John. I think this project is so important for Americas region. We have a lot of agriculture producers and companies installed, inclusive in Paraguay. Paraguay, we are one of the bigger exporters of soybean, for example.
Well, that's great, Marcel. I think in the end we do need to pilot this, so it's great to have some volunteers already. I think what we'll do is make a couple of calls to some specific areas where we think we can create some value, Jakarta, places like that. So why don't we pull that together? But great presentation, Ercole, well covered. Is there anything else you want to add? Are there more questions we'd like to take?
Let's see if there is any question. I see also there is colleagues from WFP. Don't know if Alan maybe is online and wants to say something from WFP activities.
Raul in ICC Argentina has a question.
Everybody, Ercole, Mr. Denton, thank you for the presentation. And of course, as Nelson said, we celebrate this initiative. You know that we've been talking about this since the last 2 years. So now that is a real project, we celebrate really. And we are very proud that ICC are really involved in the agenda of agriculture. That you know that from Argentina, we are working since a long time in the global agenda, and we participate in many forums, international forums. So what I would like to add is that when we see that these instruments really are very good, probably we need to define some priorities or maybe focalize some scope about what is our direction and what we want to do. In order to see that, we need to match the SDG. This is really the agenda of the agriculture today. Our challenge is how to collaborate in the global agenda, trying to match the SDG. So all the transformation that the whole change of production of food and bioenergy has to do in order to contribute to do that transformation. This is a great challenge that now farmers and the whole change is discussing in the agricultural global agenda. So I think that we need to identify when we know that that is a challenge, but we need to express. So then this project is an instrument in order to help the sector to catch up with SDG and to make the policy maker decisions to help them and to collaborate directly from the private sector on how to transform the policies in order to try to match the goal. So then if we have this clear, because you know that in the discussions we also need to focalize on what is agriculture, what is agroecology. You know, there are a lot of discussions that now from ICC, I believe we need to clarify and say we are discussing on this and we are going on that direction, because there are members from all parts of the world and maybe we have different visions. So then we go to the instruments and to all the activities that we need to develop in order to catch up that goals. So I believe that we need to develop a little more that message and that focalize the option. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul. Yeah, we will for sure to align on these, because you know this is the first step before to define the pillars and activities and tools that we will develop. So, but you know, once we will define, let's say, a steering committee of the project, we will do a new briefing and meetings to define together in more details exactly what you are mentioning. I see also there is a question in chat regarding the slides. Yes, we will circulate on the events we will be over. On Monday, we will send an email with more details. I see there is also a question from, I can't see the name, but maybe not. It's Raul, but we already got it.
Sorry, Ercole, I'm going to have to leave the call because I'm going to join another one. Thank you very much for pulling all this together. Thanks to everyone who's turned up and participated in this discussion. As it's great to hear ICC Argentina so explicitly applaud the initiative and others seeing this as interesting. This is an opportunity, I think, for national committees. This is also an opportunity for us to actually make some value or create some value here in this sector. So that's something that's being respected by the principal players. And I think the opportunity then is for us to all pull it together. Brian just asked another pilot on tourism. Now, what we've been doing, Brian, is actually deepening the relationship. So we've started now special advisor to the World Tourism Organization, another group, sorry, World Travel and Tourism Council, and we've been putting together all the various policy parameters where we've been asked to participate. And now we're actually starting to crowd in interest from the national committees on tourism as well. And obviously, we've used mobility tools as a way of doing that. I apologize, I have to leave the call now, but again, thanks so much everyone for participating, and see you all soon. Brian, you should get to bed.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. So, don't know if there is other question, because otherwise it's 3, so we're perfect in time with the meeting. So I would like to say really thank you for your time, for your attention, for the feedback that you will provide, that you already done in the last months. We will organize a new meeting in the next week. For those of you who will be interested in joining the project, you will receive an email on Monday with deadline to apply to submit the project. The aim of the submission and the application is like try to understand how you would like to implement the project in your countries and with your national committees, or just if you would like to follow the discussion on agri-food, you just need to indicate the observer. So I also see Alan is online, so thank you, Alan, for joining for WFP. Really, thank you very much. Good afternoon and good morning for those of you who are in the other part of the world, and hope you enjoying the presentation. And we really hope to get all of you on this project, because we really think that the perspective of agri-food will help ICC to grow up also its visibility and voice for the business worldwide. Thank you. Have a nice evening and afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Ercole. Bye.
Bye.